Oh, what is up, guys? It's me, your girl, your Casey. How you doing? So I may be extra sassy in this video because I'm watching the TV show Once Upon a Time on Disney Plus for the first time ever. And I picked a really bad time to stop watching because now I'm kind of on a cliffhanger and I'm pretty sure my favorite character in season 1 just died. And I'm not happy, not one bit. But you know what I have that can cure my semi-character death depression? A big heaping pile of books. That's right, this is a book haul, consumerism. Feeling that bold within me since 1997 when I was born. I have here this nice menagerie of books that I've been hoarding over a couple of weeks, maybe even a couple of months. Look at me, not buying books for over a month. And I do want to say that the books I do have were on sale, so I'm getting better. Let me go ahead and introduce you guys to the newest additions in my book captive collections. First off, we got this super creepy, stalkery, obsessive Victorian thriller horror novel. Introducing The Doll Factory. I tend to be a sucker for butterflies on the cover, because you see butterflies a lot in thriller books. Apparently butterflies really like dead bodies because their flesh is decaying and it has a sickly sweet smell. And the butterflies are like, ooh, sweet nectar. But no, it's not nectar, it's decaying flesh. So what we got here in this book, we have this lovely Victorian babe. She's gorgeous. She's also a doll maker. Her name is Iris, but she has more dreams that goes beyond painting plaster faces atop soulless dolls. She wants to be a painter, to be able to properly capture that emotion that she cannot in the faces of puppets and string. And we also have a young man named Silas, a collector who's interested in all things bright and beautiful. The stranger, the better. But he's missing that one perfect showpiece in his life, and he's on the hunt for it. So we have these two parties, the dreamer girl, the searching boy. But we also have this unnamed toothless street urchin. He's aware of both parties and their ambitions. And he's like, hey, this dude wants something beautiful. This girl wants an opportunity to paint. Let me introduce them to each other. But uh-oh, that was a bad idea. Because thanks to Mr. Street Urchin, Silas meets Iris and he just gets this awful and healthy festering obsession with Iris. So much so that he never wants to let her go. Maybe he wants to keep this butterfly locked away in a cage of his own design. In his awful, utter loneliness, Silas only knows that the object of his obsession must be his or must belong to no one else. Spooky, saucy, I like it. And continuing on with the subject of stalkers, because apparently I'm going through a weird phase right now. I bought you. That's right, I bought you. You probably know this book. It's a Netflix adaptation. I've known many people in my life who've seen the adaptation but not read the books. And they say it's creepy as all get out, which entices me. But I don't like watching movies or TV shows, so I'm gonna read the creepy book. So we follow the creepy man. His name is Joe. Creepy Joe. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Why are you so creepy, Mr. Joe? And one day, Mr. Joe, while he's working at a bookstore, he sees this beautiful lady. I'm getting a pattern here, I sense it. Beautiful lady comes into the bookstore. They chat, she buys some books, she pays with a credit card, and Mr. Joe's like, oh, let me just memorize that number. Oh, here you go. So now he's got her name, he looks her up, he starts to to follow, to stalk, to obsess. And so he starts to arrange some chance meetings, starts to further their bond, get her interested in him, and I can only deduce that this is gonna end with some crazy shenanigans. As Joe invisibly and obsessively takes control of Beck's life, he begins quietly removing the obstacles that stand in the way of their love. Oh, so sweet. Joe will do anything to ensure Beck finds herself in his waiting arms, even if it means murder. One of the main reasons I want to read this book is because it's written in second person point of view. That's why it's called You, because the entire book is you walk into the bookstore, your purse hanging heavily off of your arm. It's literally this crazy man watching this girl. And it's like we're in his head. And I love that in a thriller. It makes me feel like I'm being watched. I don't appreciate it, but I love it. There also used to be the whole audiobook for this book on YouTube, but it's gone now. I listened to the first 2 chapters, and the whole time I'm like, oh my gosh, this is very disturbing. But my mama always taught me to finish whatever I began. This is for you, Mom. I blame all the nightmares this book will give me on you. Next up, we have the possibility for even more murder with The Chalk Man. This is a very teeny tiny, skinny, winny book. In this book, we have two separate timelines, one in 2016, the other in 1986. So that's like 30 years apart. Math, college, educational degree, business major, don't let me down. In the 1986 timeline, our group of kids, they like to spend time just playing outside, doodling chalk figures on the ground, on the sidewalks. But this act of doodling chalk figures, it's actually their kind of code, their secret language. It's a way to pass riddles and hidden messages onto one another. But one morning, the friends find a chalk man leading them into the woods. I don't know if this is like an actual chalk man drawn on the pavement, or if it's like Doodle Bob from SpongeBob and it's like a chalk figure guy walking around. Some creepy black magic going on. But anyways, they follow the chalk man into the woods. They follow the message only to find the dead body of a teenage girl. Meanwhile, in 2016, we follow a Mr. Eddie who has a drinking problem trying to forget his horrible, horrible past, which will probably be revealed as we read the book. But one day he gets a letter that contains a drawing of a chalk man. Everything is coming together. Soon he learns that all his old friends received the same note. When one of them is killed, Eddie realizes that saving himself means figuring out what happened all those years ago in 1986. Nothing good happened in 1986. But digging into the past proves more dangerous than he could have ever known, because in this town, everyone has secrets. No one is innocent, and some would do anything to bury the truth. Probably bury you too. This is giving me a lot of It vibes, you know. Oh, something happened when they were kids. Oh, they grew up, went their separate ways. Oh, something is bringing the gang back together. They have to defeat some sort of evil or reveal some sort of secret. Oh, and look, it's red, like a balloon. Following that up, we have a book that is perhaps a little bit happier. I don't really know. I haven't read the book yet. That's why this is a haul, not a wrap-up. We have The Night Tiger. We follow the adventures of a dressmaker named Ji Lin, who has to moonlight as a dance hall girl to pay off her mother's mahjong debts. I love playing mahjong on my computer. That was a fun game. I like the little click-clack sound that it made when you clicked one. But when one of her dance partners accidentally leaves behind a gruesome souvenir, Ji Lin plunges into a dark adventure. A mirror world of secrets and superstitions. Ooh, I like mirror worlds. Meanwhile, as Ji Lin has to adventure on to her dark adventurous mission into the mirror world, we have a little Chinese houseboy named Ren. Ren, he has a weirder adventure to go on. Ren has to fulfill a promise he made to his dead master. The promise being he has to find his master's missing finger and reunite it with the dead body. He has 49 days to do so, or his master's soul will wander the earth forever. I bought this book because I just had one question. Why is the finger so important, and how did it get chopped off? I'm going to assume a tiger bit it off, ate it, then pooped it out. As the days tick relentlessly by, a series of unexplained deaths rack the district, along with whispers about men who turn into tigers. Ooh, were-tigers, bungo stray dogs. I'm excited. It sounds like we've got a lot happening in this book. We got a mirror world, a missing finger, and some, I hope, really hot guys who turn into really cool tigers, and we have like a little werewolf thing going on, like, you know, like Jacob from Twilight, all shirtless with the tattoos. I would really appreciate that. Thank you. All in all, I give the premise a 9 out of 10. Next up, we have the need. Like, the need I have to compulsively buy books. It's real. You know, I bought these books so long ago. I'm like, why did I even pick this up? Like, what is you? So we got Molly. Molly, she's a sleep-deprived mama. She's got 2 young kids. One day she comes home and everybody's asleep, but she hears a little something creaky footsteps going on above her head on the 2nd floor. My mistake, in the living room. I'm sorry, I'm the worst. Anyways, she's been hearing these noises for days, but finally she catches a glimpse of movement to parallel along with the creaky footsteps. Suddenly Molly finds herself face to face with an intruder who knows far too much about her and her family. We can't have that at all. We can have the creaky, but we can't have people knowing our secrets. No. As she attempts to protect those she loves most, Molly must also acknowledge her own frailty. She slips down an existential rabbit hole, where she must confront the dualities of motherhood, the ecstasy and the dread, the languor and the ferocity, the banality and the transcendence as the book hurtles towards a mind-bending conclusion. Did I pick up magical realism? Is this a metaphor for motherhood? I don't like metaphors. Just tell me what you mean, man. So we got an intruder, and a bunch of metaphors, and a bunch of big words that I read in the summary. A subversive, speculative thriller that comes to life through blazing, arresting prose and gorgeous, haunting imagery. I bought a magical realism book. I hate myself. Next up, we got a spooky looking book called The 10th Girl. It's blue. That's why I bought it. A haunted Argentinian mansion, a family curse, a twist you'll never see coming. Welcome to the Cairo School. At the very southern tip of South America looms an isolated finishing school. Legend has it that the land will curse those who settle there, but for Mavi, a bold Buenos Aires native fleeing the military regime that took her mother, it offers an escape to a new life as a young teacher to the daughters of the Argentinian elite. Mavi tries to embrace the strangeness of this imposing house, despite warnings not to roam at night, threats from an enigmatic young man who will most likely be the love interest, and rumors of mysterious others, capitalized others. But when students and teachers alike begin to behave as if possessed, the forces haunting this unholy cliff will no longer be ignored, and one of these spirits holds a sequel that could unravel Mavi's existence. Look at this author. She knows your secrets. She knows. And following a theme of settings a little bit south from the border, we have the Lord of Opium. So one of my favorite underrated books that I really want to reread is called The Scorpion King. I think that is the title. I will be embarrassed if it's not. This is the sequel to it. It smells like raisins for some reason. I don't like raisins. Bad book. Oh, it's called The House of the Scorpion. I apologize. It's been like 2 years since I've read it. But the first book is really cool, okay? So, in this land called Opium, there's this big drug lord, okay? He's basically the king of this whole strip of land between America and Mexico, Opium. Now, in the land of Opium, there's some messed up things going on. There's this group of people called, like, idiots or something like that, and the idiots have, like, something done with their brain that they're basically slaves. They do one task that their master tells them, and they won't stop doing that task until master says stop. But even worse than that, in Opium, the process of cloning is everywhere. Now, if you're a person and you're rich and you can afford a clone and your kidney is dying, you make a clone. Then you kill that clone, living, breathing person, you yank out their kidney, and then your clone dies. Now, they sort of justify it in this book by doing something again to the clone's brains that makes them, like, incapable of, like, human thought and stuff like that. They're basically mentally animals. But still, there was tons of scenes in that book of just, like, people, clones, screaming in agony. It's very dark. I enjoyed it. But we have this one clone who is like a regular person. His name is Matt, and he is the clone of the king of Opium. And it looks like Mr. King Opium guy just wants like a kind of son to chill with him. But everybody else in the palace is like, oh my gosh, it's a clone, disgusting. So it's about our boy Matt, just like discovering his own identity, his own self-worth, living in the palace with everybody hating him. It was just so good. And of course, this follows what happens after the first book. And I cannot tell you what this book is about because it'll spoil everything that happened in book 1. So, moving on. Next up, we have The Favorite Sister, whose summary starts off with a spoiler. Brett is dead and Kelly is not innocent. Wow. Way to ruin the thriller book. When two fiercely competitive sisters are cast on a reality TV series, one will benefit immensely, the other won't live through the taping. So these two sisters go onto this show called Gold Diggers, which pits many businesswomen who are trying to, like, work their way up, get some money, get their acclaim, basically pits them together, makes a show all about backstabbing and all that. alliances, betrayals, catfights. Basically, it's all about the drama for the ratings. But they did not expect Brett, perennial fan favorite, to end up dead on this TV show. Nor that so many of the cast would have motives. Ooh, was the murder aired on television? So, we got 5 women, 5 point of views, and it's up to us to figure out who killed the sister. I mean, it literally says in the first sentence, Kelly is not innocent, but I feel like that's a lie. But ultimately, we're gonna see a bunch of women trying to clog each other's eyes out, and I'm for it. I like the drama. Poor Brett, but I blame Kelly because we know Kelly is not innocent. Or is she? Because it's a thriller, there's gonna be a twist. Next up, we have a cover buy that I have been eyeing for years. And I finally bought it because it's finally on sale. The Dark Descent of Elizabeth Frankenstein. It's pink. I like it. It's a little shiny. I'm trying to get that glare off of it. It's like I can signal some helicopters with this thing. I mean, not with the ceiling over my head. Or maybe it will. I don't know. You know Frankenstein? You know the doctor, Victor Frankenstein? He married his cousin, like you do. Her name's Elizabeth. Wait, not her cousin. His family adopted Elizabeth, and then they grew up, and the mother on her deathbed was like, I always felt y'all should get married. So Victor and Elizabeth were like, oh, heck yeah, we will. Let's do it. So yeah, in Frankenstein, things happen. Not nice things, but things happen. And Elizabeth is just that side character, the little cheerleader off to the side, supporting her crazy husband throughout the whole thing, until you know. But apparently in this book, Elizabeth herself goes on a dark descent, one dark enough to rival that of her husband, Mr. Victor. Who will be the victor of madness in this book? Victor is her escape from misery. Elizabeth does everything she can to make herself indispensable, and it works. She is taken in by the Frankenstein family and rewarded with a warm bed, delicious food, and dresses of the finest silk. Soon she and Victor are inseparable. But her new life comes at a price. As the years pass, Elizabeth's survival depends on managing Victor's dangerous tempers and indulging his every whim, no matter how depraved. Behind her blue eyes and sweet smile lies the calculating heart of a girl, determined to stay alive whatever the cost, as the world she knows is consumed by darkness. That's probably because she's losing consciousness, being swallowed by darkness, because you know how her story ends. I really hurt my throat. Oh, V.E. Schwab likes this book, but I don't trust blurbs. Anyways, let me catch my breath, and I got one more book to show you. Then y'all can leave. Then I can go make sure that character from Once Upon a Time isn't actually dead. I'll be really sad if he's dead. Next up, we have a contemporary book that I have been eyeing, and I'm like, one day I'll read that. One day I'll read that. I'll read that one day. It'll come eventually, that day. Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste. Has no vowels in her name, but I know it's pronounced Ning, maybe. So like I said, I've been eyeing this book forever, but I actually have no idea what it's actually about. Let me tell you. In Shaker Heights, a placid, progressive suburb of Cleveland, everything is planned, from the layout of the winding roads to the colors of the house, to the successful lives its residents will go on to lead. And no one embodies this spirit more than Elena Richardson, whose guiding principle is playing by the rules. Sounds like a loser. Enter Mia Warren, an enigmatic artist and single mother who arrives in this idyllic bubble with her teenage daughter Pearl and rents a house from the Richardsons. Soon Mia and Pearl become more than tenants. All 4 Richardson children are drawn to the mother-daughter pair, but Mia carries with her a mysterious past and a disregard for the status quo that threatens to upend this carefully ordered community. When old family friends of the Richardsons attempt to adopt a Chinese-American baby, a custody battle erupts that dramatically divides the town and puts Mia and Alina on opposing sides. Suspicious of Mia and her motives, Alina is determined to uncover the secrets in Mia's past, but her obsession will come at unexpected and devastating costs. We got a bunch of people screaming about a baby. That's what this book is about. Okay, that was lovely. So okay, time to pose for some thumbnails. Thank you guys for witnessing my binge buying needs. I'm quite lonely in life, so this is how I make up for it. Because y'all never leave me. Y'all don't have legs. Thank you guys so much for watching my book haul. And until next time, stay reading, my friends. But you can't read my books. They're mine.